What's up, Fish fam? Welcome back to 20,000 Films Under the Sea. I'm your host, DJ, and tonight we will be reviewing some things that we haven't reviewed yet. Me, Devin, Garrick, we're going to be showing you some films and shows that came out this year, but we never got a chance to review. So, without further ado, strap yourselves in. Let's take it back a couple months, and we hope you stay tuned. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to 20,000 Films Under the Sea. I'm your host, DJ. I'm joined by my two illustrious co-hosts. First off, we have Devin. Brevin the Dude. How are you doing today, sir?
Doing good. Drinking myself a cherry lime Ricky.
That can looks sick, dude.
It is one of my favorite Arizona drinks.
Actually. Hell yeah. I like the
This is an
watermelon.
Arizona drink. This one's so good. It's sparkling cherry lime. It's fucking delicious.
Oh, it's sparkling?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I didn't know they made sparkling juices.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah. This has been out
is it
for
a
like
juice?
10 years.
Or is it a sparkling water?
It says sparkling cherry lime. It's more of a juice. It's like a sparkling juice.
Wow.
It's really good.
Is it sweeter than sparkling water?
Yes.
Okay, that's a big deal. I fucking hate sparkling water. That's why I asked.
Me too.
No, this slaps.
Shit
this
tastes
is
like
a
TV
certified slapper. This is a certified slapper.
Okay,
like, maybe I'll have
to give it a go.
If you see this, get it. Like, please.
Arizona sparkling. You said cherry lime Ricky.
Yep, cherry lime Ricky.
Wow. Okay. It's a sick can design. I'd just get off the can alone. Like if I saw that
Dude,
in the fridge.
That came out like years ago. Like I remember I was working for Microsoft at the time, and I would get it for lunch every fucking day because 99 cents, and I'd go to a Cafe Yum, get my cafe bowl, and I'd get that, and it was perfect lunch.
Hell yeah.
But I haven't had them in years. And I went to this mini mart with my brother today, and we went and grabbed some vitamin waters, and then like I saw those sitting on the shelf. They weren't even getting chilled. And I literally just grabbed like 3 of them to take home and
like you're coming home with me.
Yeah, I haven't had it in forever, and it's so good. Like, even my brother saw me grab them. He's like, yo, those are so good. I was like, I know.
Dude, I wonder if I can find them at Winco.
You might be able to. Might be.
I don't know. I haven't seen them at Winco, and that's where I go for grocery shopping.
Damn. I was gonna check it out because I fucking love Arizona products.
Yeah, this certified slapper.
Yeah, I love the watermelon juice one. That one sometimes like I partake. It's a little too sweet sometimes. I don't know what it is, but sometimes it just hits. So it's like
I used to really like their mango one.
Yeah,
I used to really like the mango one back in the day.
Dude, I really just honestly love their green tea with ginseng and honey. Like that.
Oh yeah, no, I buy like the 16 packs of those. No, I buy the 16 cans. Like the 16 packs, light of it, and I buy those all the time because I put them in my lunches, like the cans.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Also joined,
they're never gonna raise their prices.
Yep. Also joined with us today, we have Garrick by Thadabi. Yeah.
Leave it to me to interrupt my own intro. I'm so good like that, dude. I'm so fucking happy it's Friday, y'all. Like I have the summer is coming to an end, and I'm not like terribly sad about it. Like I'm actually kind of actively ready to go back to work.
Really?
Yeah, dude. I'm not a good like homebody. Like I want to be a homebody. Like my mentality is like I want to be the person that can stay at home and just do stuff at home. But I'm also at the same time the person that when I actually stay at home, my mental health just like takes a huge nosedive.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I feel
like,
that.
so like, even though I want to be a homebody, like I have to go out and do other things. And so like, I have like this conflicting like need to socialize with like a constantly draining social battery, and work's kind of like a happy medium for me
Mm-hmm.
because like I'm obligated to be there. So like, it doesn't drain the social battery in the same way. And also I'm earning a paycheck. So like
Yeah.
it's a little different, but it's also I also still like my job, right? So like it's still positively stimulating during the day, even if it can be stressful.
For sure.
So like I'm like that person that needs like a little bit of that good stress in their life. Otherwise, like I'm like I get like I can't I can't be that person that has nothing going on. Otherwise, I bitch about like every bad little thing in my life.
Yeah.
Like I need like a good positive stress to like give me something to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
so
I
like
totally.
I'm just kind of done with the summer, bro. Like I have like a camping trip coming up next weekend to like kind of end things off,
Mhm.
and then I'm ready to go back to work.
Yeah, dude, I'm kind of in the same boat. I like I think I'm still in the mind of summer and like, oh, I have to go back to classes soon. So I think after August, I think I'll be able to like in like not doing anything. I think I'll get out of like, oh, I
You'll
still
have
have
like a
school.
weird period of anxiety where like your brain's probably thinking it needs to go do something like go
Yeah,
back to
dude.
school.
Yeah,
And then like you'll get 2 weeks into it and your brain's gonna be like, baby, this is actually fuck all that. This is kind of nice.
yeah. So I hopefully, I can like break out of that once that happens. Because right now I'm in a weird spot. It's like I feel like I can't fully enjoy things because I feel like there's something coming up, but there's nothing coming up, because like my body's
Yeah, dude, that
anticipating like
anticipatory anxiety.
yeah. So it's just been a weird thing. And plus I've been like trying to figure out a lot of stuff around my life and stuff like that. So I'm just trying to navigate everything at the same time. But, you at home listening, watching, you deserve some good stress because this is 20,000 Films Under the Sea, your choice for all the nerdy pop media news, reviews, and discussions you want each and every week. If you like that, you can head on over to our Discord channel where you can submit questions and topics to the show, get exclusive content, and have early access to episodes before they go live on a podcast and video service near you. But if you empty your pockets for the latest and greatest in entertainment, that's cool with us. You can watch us record this show live right here at twitch.tv/Good Kraken Show, just like I am. I'm watching this. DJ Flight also watching in chat. If you have Amazon Prime, you also have Twitch Prime. Tell them, DJ.
Tell him, DJ.
And we would love for you to give that to us to help keep the lights on and cameras rolling. There it is. But you can
Love
also
the
support
late.
us by going to our YouTube
I
channel,
was
hitting
ready.
subscribe, or by leaving a review on our podcast channel by searching 20,000 Films Under the Sea, and we'll be there waiting for you.
For you.
They will be. I won't be.
Garrick!
Huh.
We have some director's commentary. Check out our latest episode of Death Ratio, where we talk about the SAG-AFTRA strike. And Garrick and Devin had some hands on. Garrick with the game Flock, and Devin had his hands on Marvel Rivals Beta. So watch that episode and listen to our feedback and thoughts on those games.
Yeah. Yeah. How was your guys' stream last night? By the way,
It was good.
I know
It was fun.
I know you
It was fun.
you pivoted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We pivoted because of the the turning events of Bungie and the decisions that leadership is making, and finding out that's
UT
also
Parsons.
including Sony. By the way, Sony is a big part behind it as well.
Yeah.
It's upper leadership at Bungie and Sony.
Don't worry, folks. We're aware. We'll be discussing this on Tuesday.
Yes, indeed. Also, speaking of, be on the lookout for our splashed image of Helldivers 2 on YouTube. We had a little oopsie. We're going to get it straight. It should be out by tonight. Definitely by the time you're listening to this, when it's out on all podcast platforms. So be sure to check that out on YouTube whenever we get that sorted out. Also, merch is coming right around the corner, so hold on to your seats a little bit longer. Merch is on the way. Okay, on the way. And you can still support us by sharing our content around. Please share our content around the interwebs. Share it to your friends. on Facebook if you're a fossil. You know, in any
You're a
platform of choice.
fossil.
Any platform of choice. But we need to get into our next segment. Devin, what do the people have? What do we have going on next for the people?
Well, people. For the people. For the people. We
the
shall provide you with the final cut.
The final cut. We need
The
like a film reel.
cut down.
Countdown. That's the final cut down, dude. It's the final cut down.
Tonight. You finish?
Thank you, Devin. We're done now. We're done now.
Tonight on the final cut, we are talking the non-reviewed reviews. Each of us have a film or show that we that came out this year that we haven't formally reviewed on this show yet because of time, or there was another big blockbuster movie that we wanted to review instead. So this is the episode where we do a little bit of catching up. Each of us have watched a film this year that wasn't reviewed on this show. So yeah, we're going to get into it. Starting with me, I watched a little film early on this year called Lisa Frankenstein. It is a new take on Frankenstein's monster, and it is really cool. It's really sick. I had to watch it for a film class, and it was crazy how we just got it. Right as the semester is about to end, I'm pretty sure. Or it just started, but like we got it towards the end of the semester. But yeah, this basically it stars Catherine Newton as Lisa, and she basically is kind of this outcast amongst her peers. This takes place in, I think, high school. In high school. And she's kind of like the weirdo gal. She, doesn't make a lot of friends. And ultimately, she's out here looking for love because this is a love story of all things. And she finds this creature that the creature, as it's called, played by Cole Sprouse. If you guys know about Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, he was Cody.
Yeah.
And they go on these
Also
shenanigans, and they start going on a murder spree of all the people who have wronged Lisa. And they kind of develop a love for each other. Romance develops between these two unlikely characters. This was directed by Zelda Williams. She's known to have directed some really cool stuff. And I think this is like...
It's Robin Williams' daughter, by the way.
Yeah, and I think this is like one of her bigger films. I think this bigger films that she's created. I'm pretty sure. I
think so. I think she's mostly done like festival films.
Yeah, and so I think this is like her first film that like had like a pretty big budget, $13 million budget, so pretty good, and box office of 9.9 million since February 9th, the official release date. So not bad. Didn't get reviewed particularly well, but I wanted to bring this up because I genuinely enjoyed this film. It's not a long watch. It's an hour and 41 minutes, but I think it's very colorful, and it's a great take on the Frankenstein story. And it's like a great like horror comedy, like romance thing. It's very reminiscent of Jennifer's Body. Like throughout the film, you can really like draw some similarities between the two films. So it's like, it's kind of campy, kind of, and it's like, it, how do I explain? Like, it's pretty campy and it's funny. It's very humorous. Like there's a lot of comedy in this, and
It's
like
not
some of
so
the
serious, right?
yeah, it doesn't take itself serious. You know, it's like a Disney show, a Disney movie off the rails. You know, if I were to describe it.
Okay.
And it's just fun. It's fun. The dialogue is really funny. There's a scene where so Cole Sprouse as the creature, he speaks in just grunts and shit. He doesn't.
So he's basically playing like the Frankenstein's monster, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the first we see him, his body is like, because he was a dead body, he's resurrected. So he's like rotting, and then like eventually like he cleans himself up, but then like they need to have they want to have sex, and he doesn't have a penis, and so
Oh shit.
there's this one character where Lisa had a crush on, but was like cheating on her or with like her best friend or whatever, and like they go to that guy's house, and the creature has an axe and basically chops that guy's dick off, and like you don't see it getting chopped up, but like you see the shadow of like this fucking huge
Like the silhouette scene.
like flying in the air. And he surgically like sews it on because he knows how to sew, so he sews on like Chad's dick, and they start going to town. It's really fun. It's very tongue in cheek. I enjoy it. It's like it doesn't take itself too seriously. It doesn't have to be like some like Oscar like bait worthy like fucking gray all this like subtext. It's just a fun movie. And if you just even looking at it deeper, it's like it's about being like how the pressures of society like works on like young love, and especially as a young girl in love and going out through high school. I think it's, you know, it's not a particularly new message, but it's definitely one that's done well in this film, and all the characters are just fucking hilarious. Like Lisa has this mom, and it's all set in like the like kind of 70s 80s.
So
Like,
not modern, but like
yeah, it's like not modern, you know. It's definitely like you can definitely see it's like 70s 80s, and the mom is like she's I don't know how to describe her. There's probably like a term, but she's like
She's a stepmom, and she's a
like
bad stepmom.
she is,
oh,
but like
evil stepmom.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, in a way it's like she's evil stepmom, but like she is obsessed with like staying fit. She has like this like 70s like workout fit, and like she has her Walkman and she's listening to like how to deal with an unruly child. And like
Yeah.
borderline like narcissist, but like doesn't get it. She's a really funny character. But yeah, that's
The
Lisa
trailer
Frankenstein.
of this reminded me because obviously I haven't seen this film myself, but I did remember seeing the trailers for it in the theater, and I got like the same have you seen Warm Bodies, DJ,
No, I have not.
with Nicholas Hoult? Like the trailer gave me kind of the same vibe as that. Devin, you've also seen Lisa Frankenstein, right?
Yep. And I've seen Warm Bodies.
Okay, so am I off base there?
A little.
I'm basing it
feel
just
like-
off trailers, like I said.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. I feel like Lisa Frankenstein feels a little bit more like a Wes Anderson film.
Yeah.
Where
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
so
that's-
like a little bit more like it's funny, but it's funny because it's like awkward and like deadpan as shit,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
like
It's like
it's
the
like, it's
characters take
dryly
each other
written.
seriously.
but the tone never
not
the
serious.
tone
Yeah.
doesn't lend
Yep.
itself to that at all.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that's that's super Wes
Lot of-
Anderson. Like
A lot of like pastel colors too,
Mhm.
and like
Okay.
you know, like baby blues, baby pinks, you know, stuff
Yeah,
like
A
that.
lot of stuff like that. But it's very colorful.
Mhm.
Definitely a colorful film.
So
Yeah.
okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think it's worth a watch.
I might have to check it out. It's like it's one I've seen. I think my wife either has seen it or wants to see it. So maybe
It's a quick watch.
maybe that's
Hour,
something
41
her,
minutes.
and I
Yeah.
might watch together.
That'd be a
It
great
looked-
movie for you guys to watch together too, if she hasn't seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love horror comedies. Like that's like a kind of, which it very much sounds like this is what this is.
Yeah,
it's like
it
a
is.
like a horror.
I don't think it's really a horror.
It's not a
movie.
horror. It's more of like just a comedy than anything.
Yeah.
Like it's like a horror in the sense like Jennifer's Body is considered horror. Like it's like I guess
I mean that's considered a horror comedy, just like Tucker and Dale versus Evil is considered a horror comedy.
Yeah, it's like
Even
it's
though
very
it's
light.
mostly laughs. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like it's definitely the lightest amount of horror in this film, if that makes sense. Like very light. Like it barely makes it. Barely passes the threshold for what we consider horror. It might terrify like a young child, but you wouldn't show this to a young child anyway.
No. Well, horror comedy is less about the scare factor and more about the successful use of tropes.
Mm.
So like what would make a good horror comedy is like having that character that is going to get killed by making a very obvious mistake, and they set that character up at like the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
To like make that mistake. You're like, oh, this character's going to do something exceedingly stupid in like T-minus 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you literally see it coming. You're like, there it is.
It is,
right.
yeah.
And like they like walk themselves into the tropes and stuff. That's what makes a good horror comedy.
Mm. Yeah, I feel that. But are we giving these a rating? Are we?
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. Let's rate these bad boys. We're doing it.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. If you haven't seen it yet, it's on Peacock. If you have a Peacock subscription, you can watch it.
Yeah, I do.
I do actually. It's cheap.
Hey, if you're done watching the Olympics, is this still going on? I think is the Olympics wrapping up.
The Olympics are still going on.
Still going.
So like on your downtime when there's not your favorite Olympic event going on, just boot up Lisa Frankenstein if you have Peacock. I'm gonna give this an 8. I think it deserves an 8. It's fun.
Super solid movie.
I agree with that. I agree with that
too?
as somebody.
It's not like transcending the movie space, but it's fun. It's a great watch. It's short and sweet.
Which is interesting because I did just happen to pull up like the critic response, which is considerably lower than, or at least on Rotten Tomatoes, the aggregator it's sitting at of 48.
Yeah, I don't.
Which is it, but the thing is like I don't necessarily feel like honestly sometimes movies aren't made for critics, and that's okay.
Yeah,
I mean, look at Deadpool and Wolverine. That has a 78% critic and a 96% viewer rating.
That's true. Films are so subjective. This definitely is like one of those ones that I was on like the edge of interest. Mm-hmm. And like I've definitely like because Devin's mentioned it a few times. Like now that you've like gotten to see it, I think I'm definitely more inclined to actually give it a watch, especially if it's actually funny. I was more worried it was going to be like too rom-com-y.
Yeah, no, it's not like it's. Devin, you can vouch for it. It's not rom-com.
There's elements of it.
It's elements, but it's like that. It's not. It knows it's being rom-com-y in when it happens. You know what I mean? And there's like things that like slice that edge off. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
Cut
fair.
through that.
That's fair.
Because like I didn't get that sense watching it. Like I understood that like that's what's going on, but it didn't feel like it's like one of these.
It didn't have like the mushy undertone necessarily.
Yeah.
Which is good. I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm glad that I've been able to get you to think about watching it. Definitely you should watch it with your wife. I think if she hasn't watched it yet.
She's definitely brought it up. So and because she loves Cole Sprouse, so I bet you that's why it got brought up.
Yeah. But,
who's next, baby?
Yeah, who's next? I think it's you, Garrick. I think.
I'm next. I admittedly don't have the notes pulled up just because I'm being a little lazy this evening. I'm not gonna lie.
You're good. You're good.
But hell yeah, dude. This is actually I literally like no joke. I'm gonna out myself here actually, but I've really wanted to watch the latest Ghostbusters movies. not just Frozen Empire, which is what I'm going to review for you guys here in a second, but also Afterlife, which I hadn't seen.
You
And
hasn't seen.
hasn't seen. My hick's coming out there. And it's the Malala showing through.
Yeah, it
Dude,
is.
and like I literally this, by the way, if you guys hate this episode, you can blame me. This is I pitched this idea. And like no shit, I kind of did it so that I had like a motivator for myself to get to these fucking movies. That's real. Like honestly, that's kind of what
Hey, man,
happened. 'Cause I was just like,
master plan or Garrick
I really fucking want to watch the new Ghostbusters movies, but like, if I don't give myself like a reason, I'll never get around to it. And so the pushing it into a piece of content was what my motivator was. So while while I watched both of Frozen Empire, I also got to watch Afterlife this week too, which I had not seen. It is good. It is good. I like them both for different reasons. You'll probably I'm gonna give like a side review for Afterlife also, like but I'm not gonna rate it just because but don't worry about it. Like, but it's just I'm gonna weave the two together. Just understand what I'm doing here. But anyways, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire is the direct sequel to Ghostbusters Afterlife, which is a soft reboot / sequel to Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2. This continuity pretty much ignores the 2016 film, which also features some of the original Ghostbuster cast as well. I don't know. It seems like they just kind of tossed that continuity out the window. But this, back in the day, there was always kind of a pitch from Dan Aykroyd, who was one of the original cast members of Ghostbusters, to do like a Ghostbusters Next Generation thing for the franchise. But the Next Generation was always pictured as like another set of adults rather than kids. And at the time, there was when I was young, there was not one but two different Ghostbusters animated films or animated series, excuse me. One of them was The Real Ghostbusters, and the other one was Extreme Ghostbusters. And one of them featured like the original four cast members, and then the other ones featured like a next generation sort of cast member, where like the torch had been passed on from Spangler and Venkman and Stantz and all of them to the next generation. I can never fucking remember the last name of Ernie Hudson's character. It's really long. So we got like, so this affectionately feels like the live action version of Dan Aykroyd's original pitch of like the Ghostbusters Next Generation, which I truly adored, because I have like a dear place in my heart for the first two movies. I love Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2. I even went and saw the 2016 one in theaters, and I didn't hate the movie at all, but I think I ended up I think I had like a 7.5 feeling about it. Like, it was pretty funny, and Chris Hemsworth was really hilarious. But this was a great watch. It feels really good to be back in the Ghostbusters franchise in a modern setting, with the continuity that respects the original films and wholeheartedly acknowledges them like all the way. Afterlife, to me, was affectionately a tribute film to the original Ghostbusters, but it didn't really do anything to propel the franchise forward. It just kind of closed some doors and paid homage to some characters and people that had passed. Fast forward 2 years later, we've now got Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, which once again reignites and reunites the original cast, but not just for the last 15 minutes like it did in Afterlife, but really interweaves them with the new cast featuring McKenna Grace and Finn Wolfhard as like the two primaries, along with Paul Rudd as like
And
the
he's
new
21
forefront.
forever.
What was that?
Paul Rudd's 21 forever.
Yeah. And so like the new cast really mingles well with this. And like, so the story for this was written by Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd. Harold Ramis, who actually has now passed away. And this film was actually written by and helped produced by the son of the original director of the original Ghostbusters film. So like there's definitely a legacy to the Ghostbuster films, and the son actually um directed Afterlife. So there's like a lot of care that this franchise kind of has put into itself over the years. And it really, I feel like it genuinely shines through wholeheartedly in Frozen Empire. Frozen Empire brings them back to New York. It reignites the cast. We've now got the next generation cast, and the full return of everybody in the original cast. Shit, including the secretary Mel Nats, who literally was like the lady who answered the phones for them and and ran the firehouse. Like she returns and like actually gets to suit up in this film, and we rather than seeing Gozer return and like the original kind of Sumerian god setup that we get from the first film, we get a brand new antagonist. And while I will say the plot is beat for beat a lot stronger in Afterlife, I felt like Frozen Empire was a much more action-packed and fun film. There's some notable changes that I felt stood out to me, that changed the film quite a lot from a traditional Ghostbusters film, that I definitely like shows through to me as somebody who likes the film. The biggest one being the person who did the original score does not return
Mm.
in Frozen Empire, and the music is a big part of what makes Ghostbusters Ghostbusters, because it brings like a lot of levity, because it has a very goofy ass soundtrack. It just does, like very kind of Danny Elfman, like it's light and has a lot of levity to it, in really playful ways. And the score doesn't have that playful goofy tone to it, like the other ones do. That's not present in Frozen Empire. In fact, the whole tone of Frozen Empire is actually considerably more serious than any other Ghostbuster film. It does still have comedy. It does still have a lot of levity. Bill Murray still takes absolutely nothing serious. This is like Venkman's character literally doesn't take anything serious at all. He literally like calls the villain tall, dark, and horny. And literally just because he has physical horns on his body. Like like again, it's a very super non-self-serious film, right? Like it's one of those movies that plays on like poltergeist and like the idea of ghosts. I love this. I love this film. I really do. It was super great. Back to front. The CGI was absolutely incredible. It looked Ghostbusters, felt Ghostbusters top to finish. It was nice to see Slimer make a return, even if it was like only as kind of like a little bit of a cameo. It was nice to see him still hanging around the firehouse. I will say that even though Afterlife is more of a tribute film, Frozen Empire actually leans more on nostalgia than Afterlife did. Afterlife stood more on its own by just paying homage to what Ghostbusters is and wrapping up the story. This takes on an original story, but it calls back a lot of information, not just from Afterlife, but from Ghostbusters 1 and 2. So if you hadn't seen the original films from 1984 in 2024, there are going to be some humor in some things that you're not going to miss. That you are going to miss, excuse me. Ghostbusters films are definitely for Ghostbusters fans. It's really hard to sell Ghostbusters to like new people, I feel like.
I was gonna ask
It
that.
re-
I was gonna ask you
like
because
it is kind of hard. Now, I will say the 2016 one was just like, I just don't feel like that was the right kind of reboot. Afterlife sells it the right way, DJ, because they blend the next generation cast with the new cast, or with the original cast. I feel like that gives something for new people and original fans to watch, but at the same time it's trying to service both of those audience groups, and it's not quite sure if it wants to just be original Ghostbusters or go all the way and be new Ghostbusters. You know what I'm
Identity
saying?
Crisis movie.
Yeah, like it definitely has a little bit of identity crisis, and it shows through most strongly in the second half of the film when the ghost, like the primary antagonistic ghost, materializes in New York. The plot kind of falls off the rails just a little bit. It doesn't get bad, but it gets notably like kind of sloppy. Um, like Ghostbusters plots aren't necessarily anything to write home about to begin with, but like when you're comparing it to the original films, this definitely doesn't resolve quite as satisfyingly as Afterlife or original Ghostbusters. I'm sorry, Ghostbusters 2. Like I love you, but like you're just not as good as the other ones. And so like I did feel like it didn't resolve as satisfyingly, but it absolutely left it open for the franchise to continue. I sincerely hope it does. I actually really liked the new villain design. The writing around the villain was a little strange, mostly because it relied pretty heavily on Camille Nanjiani for some fucking reason. He plays like an odd side character in this film that like should not be as important as he is. Unfortunately. He's an entertaining character, but like I felt like the movie could have been written without his character to exist and the plot would have been stronger for it. Just because of like it navigates itself around his character very strangely. So like basically there's like an original Ghostbusters troop, like ancient Ghostbusters. They were called the Fire Masters, and they were the people who stopped this original evil god or spirit entity called Garaka, and who is the main antagonistic force for this film. That's kind of our tool. So we like the film starts in 1904, and we get like a flashback scene, 1904 New York. Somebody tries to basically open Garaka's spirit orb as a fucking party trick because rich white people in the 1900s. And of course, everybody gets frozen to death and nuked and dies. Falls apart into icy shatters. We flash forward to present day. They are now no longer in Somerville, but they are back in New York City. They're living in the firehouse, and both the and what has kind of happened is the original cast members are like supporting and like floating the new Ghostbusters. Eddie Hudson's character. Fuck, what is I literally can somebody look up Eddie Hudson's
I got
character
you.
name, please, for
I got
me?
you.
Like, please God. I literally cannot remember it. But his character basically left the Ghostbusters and became an entrepreneur, and now he's like floating. He's floating all of the Ghostbusters and keeping them like in business while also hiring engineers to do what Egon Spangler used to do, which was design like their proton packs and all of their techs and stuff. So like they're like a fully official operation now. The mayor, who wasn't the mayor in the first one, but was the asshole guy, Devin, who was trying to shut them down in the original movie, comes back and is the mayor of New York City in this, and is still trying to shut them the fuck down. So like literally, you have to almost have watched the original film to appreciate this. It's so locked in nostalgia that it kind of hampers it. It's really leans on nostalgia of the first film a lot, but not in the same way that it did in Afterlife, where it just pays homage to it. It like leans into it and relies on you understanding the jokes and the characters and the camaraderie from the original films. So if you have it, which is kind of crazy considering that fucking movies like 1984, I think it's literally however do the math. I'm bad at math. However old that shit is, 50, 30, 40, a long time. I think it's 40. 40
Eric,
years.
His name is Winston Zedmore in the film.
Zedborn, thank you.
Zedmore,
I couldn't remember his last fucking name. But Winston now basically he is like he owns Ghostbusters and like supplies them with their money. Venkman's doing whatever the fuck he does. I literally don't understand what he does. He just kind of appears in the film. That's Bill Murray's character. He just appears and helps out. His plot threads are really loose. But Dan Aykroyd is like, he's like the star of the original Ghostbusters, in my opinion. I can tell he loves this franchise so much, and his interaction with the new cast and the original characters really shines through in that. Uh,
Mhm.
this it's a complicated watch. It's a complicated watch. It is absolutely worth watching, and I personally loved it. Now, the hot take is I liked this more than than Afterlife. That is going to be a hot take. Because this doesn't have as much comedy. It has a heavier tone overall throughout the film. It does lack a little bit of what makes Ghostbusters Ghostbusters, which is that goofiness and the lightheartedness and the levity. But we're also in a new time. We've got a new cast, and I think it's maybe okay for these films to evolve to be a little bit more serious, because I still laughed at all of the jokes.
Mhm.
The humor was still there for me, but I also appreciated like the heavier, darker tone that this film carried, which still isn't dark at all, by the way. This is still a family-centric film, but it's darker than the other Ghostbusters. Um, but it does rely so heavily on you having an understanding of Spangler and Zedborn and Venkman and Stance. It needs you to know those characters before you watch that film. Otherwise, you're not going to appreciate it the same way you would if you just went and saw it cold turkey. You can't. It is rooted in nostalgia and fan service more so than Afterlife. You need to have seen Afterlife also because it's a direct sequel, and like literally sets up your understanding of why this new cast of characters is here. But it is just as important for you to have seen 1984's original Ghostbusters, which I think it knocks it down a point for me just because that's a hard sell for like a newer generation, right? You're like, I have to go watch a 40-year-old film to be able to understand this shit that just released. Like, a lot of people, aren't you, DJ, where they're willing to go watch a classic piece of cinema for pure enjoyment, right?
Yeah.
Like they're gonna see that, like they're like, this is an old movie, it's clearly not gonna hold up to the test of time, and they just dismiss it. And I can understand that completely. So with that being said, I loved it, but the movie's complicated because it roots itself so much in the past while also trying to push itself forward at the same time. And it literally loses the plot a little bit because of it. All in all, though, still an incredible Ghostbusters film, super entertaining. And seeing the original cast mixed with the next generation cast was really, really a treat for me as a longtime Ghostbusters fan. And I'm still going to give this an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Yeah.
Very nice,
Yeah,
very
sick,
nice.
sick.
I need to watch it. It's on Netflix right now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like it's number 1 on Netflix right now.
Oh, damn.
I need to watch it.
Yeah, it's popping off. Yeah, like
I'll probably watch it tomorrow morning. That'll
now
probably
that
be
more
like
people are getting their hands on it, they're kind of going pretty hard against critics to be like, yo, this movie's actually really good.
Dude, critics have sucked lately. They're so pretentious. They're like, if it's not fucking Oppenheimer, it's a shitty movie. That's pretty much the stance
I
they're
think you're
having.
gonna love. I think if you liked Afterlife, Devin, I legitimately think you will enjoy.
And I grew up with
Frozen
Ghostbusters,
Empire.
man.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
100%.
say like I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan, but I'm really familiar with the franchise. I enjoyed the movies. You know what I mean? But yeah, I need to watch it.
DJ, have you seen the original Ghostbusters?
I have not, dude. Do you think if I
That's not
watch
surprising.
Afterlife, do you think it would make me want to watch the first one? Or should I just jump into the first one? Like OG.
The first movie is truly kind of special. It's very much like you're going to watch that movie and you're going to be like, holy shit, this is 100% a product of the 80s. Like it's like one of those time capsule films where like it doesn't matter how old it's going to get, you're going to be like, that's the fucking 80s. Like you're going to pinpoint it immediately. But like the cast is so fucking funny. and like the writing is so goofy, and it was such a breath of fresh air in an original concept for a movie that it literally birthed the franchise that spanned 40 years and has survived bad reboots and bad animated series.
And there's video games too, like multiple video games.
Yeah, more than one video game.
We tried playing one, and it did not work.
It didn't work out. That game is in a much better state now. That's literally the one I was playing.
Yeah,
but
I refunded that game.
I don't blame you. I mean, if you weren't able to play it, why would you want to keep it in your library? But yeah, like honestly, like you could absolutely get away with just watching Afterlife. I think like because if you're not familiar, but even Afterlife, like it doesn't necessarily explain what the fuck a Ghostbuster is, or what the hell a proton pack is, or the ghost traps, or crossing the streams.
I gotta say this.
There's a lot of things. There is no mom. There's only Zool. You have to watch the first one first.
Yeah, you have to watch the first Ghostbusters, and then you can skip everything to Afterlife, and then watch.
So 2 and 3 don't matter. 2 and 3 don't matter, really?
So 2 is not a requirement, but I would say, like, if you wanted to get the full picture experience, I would do 1, and then Afterlife, and then 2, and then Frozen Empire.
Oh, okay. So it's like, 2 is like, you would treat 2 as like prequel, kind of.
Well, it's like it's a direct sequel to the first one, but like the stories the stories kind of stand alone because Afterlife actually resolves the story from the first movie, not 2.
Okay.
But there are direct references from 2 in Frozen Empire.
Okay. So okay. I get it now.
And then if you really want to fuck it all up, you can also go watch the female only cast with Kristen Wiig, Melissa McCarthy, Leslie Jones, and Kate McKinnon that released in 2016. Don't listen to the haters. The movie's actually really fun.
Yeah, I saw. I mean, during that time when it came out, I remember so much outrage. Oh,
there was a lot of hate.
There was a lot of hate, and it was not worthy. I went and saw that shit in theaters day 1.
Dude, fucking dude, imagine that release today. Oh my god, the amount of
it'd probably pop off.
It'd pop up, but also at the same time, it would get even more hate.
They'd be louder. Yeah, they'd be louder.
The guys would be louder. Also, I want to give a shout out to Morbid Geo for something with the Prime sub, also, and for 2 years or 24 months, 2 years. 2 years straight.
But yeah, no, DJ, like Ghostbusters, it's a cult classic franchise for sure.
Yeah.
But I think you would see a lot of entertainment value in just what that universe is.
Yeah. No, I've definitely always been interested in it, and I wanted to jump in. I just never got time to.
The first one's also conveniently on Peacock, which we know you have a subscription for.
I don't have a subscription for Peacock. I rescinded my I stopped paying for it for like a few months now, but I'll re-up just to watch it. I'll re-up to watch a few. I had to have Peacock for my film class. I mean, yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's fair. And you haven't watched that.
You can just use mine.
And I re-upped. I had a Peacock because I wanted to watch Bel Air, the new the Fresh Prince reboot.
Oh, dude, I haven't watched that yet. Actually,
it's good.
Is it worth it?
It's good. I enjoy it. Like it's heavy, dude. It's like
I know it's not the same.
It's very serious, and it's like a lot. It's a lot more drama. It's like a fuck ton of drama.
Okay.
But you'll understand
weird.
some of the memes about Will Smith as a character, just referencing Philly any chance I'm from Philly, like I'm from Philly, like just every situation, like he has to call back to his Philly roots, which is like an inside funny joke, but in the context of it, like you'll notice it, but it's like part of his character. But yeah, yeah. So you said you give Frozen Empire an 8
out of 10. 8 out of 10.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely worth a watch, especially if you're a Ghostbusters fan.
Hell yeah.
Sweet.
Hell yeah. So we're gonna move on to our last co-host here with Devin. Devin, tell the people what you watched this year.
So it's really funny, but I actually did a whole write-up, like how we do for our reviews all the time. Like I did the whole thing.
Go get it.
So Guys, I watched a couple days ago. I watched the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. I said it like that because that's how a lot of people talk in that movie. But yeah, I watched the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, and a little brief synopsis for you boys and all listeners and/or watchers out there. British Prime Minister Winston Churchill and a group of military officials hatch a daring plan to neutralize Hitler's fleet of German U-boats during World War II, made up of a motley crew of rogues and mavericks. The top secret combat unit uses unconventional techniques to battle the Nazis and change the course of the war, and that war being World War II, of course. It's starring Henry Cavill, Alan Ritchson, Alex Pettyfer, and Isa Gonzalez with a runtime of 120 minutes, 2 hours, a budget of 60 million USD. The box office, however, was only 21.6 million USD. Big flop, unfortunately, there.
I think it had a bad release window.
Yeah.
Didn't
I
it
think
come
it
up
came out the
against
same
something?
out.
Let me look.
I forgot.
Films.
Like,
Yeah,
I feel like it
you know
came
what?
up
I didn't
against
even put
something
the
big.
release date.
It's in April of
Um,
19th.
Yeah, April 19th, 2024. What came out that time? What came
Rebel
out
Moon
time?
Part 2.
Continuing on, this was written by Paul Tomasi, who is behind The Fighter with Christian Bale. I don't know if you remember that movie.
I've not seen that.
Yeah, this is a really good movie. He also wrote Air Bud.
Okay.
Yeah, also written by Eric Johnson, who is one of the writers on The Fighter. Arash Amel, who's newer, and Guy Ritchie, of course, is directed by Guy Ritchie as well, and composed. Yes, DJ.
I'm sorry, I misspoke. Civil War came out. And Monkey Man.
Oh,
That month
see,
was
that
sick.
makes sense.
That's just a lot of competing genre.
And Argyle as well. So like just a lot of shit.
That's
to
a
watch
lot of the
that
same
month.
kind of films.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of shit
yeah.
to watch that month.
I actually want to watch Argyle too.
Me too.
I like, yeah,
Isn't
I
that
like Luke
also Henry
Wilson.
Cavill?
Yeah.
Yeah, Henry Cavill's in it as well.
Damn, he's busy now that he ain't Superman no more.
Good for him.
Do you imagine having to do? Did they do media press tour for? I know they did for Argyle. I don't know if they did it for the Ministry of Ungentlemanly.
Yes,
They
they
did.
did.
I don't think
because they did. Yeah, they did. It was a light press tour, but I did see some stuff with him and Alan Richson.
Gotcha.
Okay. This was composed by
Busy as fuck.
Christopher Benstead, behind Aladdin 2018 and Wrath of Man 2021. Wrath of Man, also a Guy Ritchie film.
Yep.
That movie is really good. That movie is really good. DJ, if you haven't seen that, you should
What
watch
movie?
it. It's got Jason Statham. Wrath of Man.
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it. When you guys recommended it.
Yeah, that movie.
It's great.
Yeah, that
Pretty
movie's
good.
sick. That movie's sick. I got some fun facts for you guys. So Ian Fleming was actually inspired by the main character Gus March Phillips, the character that Henry Cavill plays, to write James Bond. So as a young man, Fleming was essentially a liaison between the Royal Navy and the Special Operations Executive, the SOE. His role on Operation Postmaster was not only to originate the idea to a large extent, but to train and oversee the team that was sent into the field, Lewis says. Gus March Phillips, as the dashing English gentleman, was one of the inspirations for James Bond. Because of the classified nature of his work, Fleming funneled many of these World War II operations into his James Bond novels. So this Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare is actually a real historical group of people that were like secret special forces for the British Army during World War II. So this is all
they were specifically they were like the first. They were the first official, which I use with air quotes, right? By the way, espionage group created by British intelligence. I'm actually watching. Yeah. I'm watching the antithesis group to this, which was the creation of the original Special Forces, which is Rogue Heroes right now, which was also World War II.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So a crazy story about what they end up doing in this movie. Um, but yeah, they were legitimately called the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. That is the name of the unit given by Churchill himself. Um,
So badass.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, so Richardson's hulking character, he is definitely a scene stealer, and he is killing Nazis with everything from axes to bows and arrows and a combat knife. You rarely see him use a gun in this movie. Like,
Good.
Homeboy is shooting a bow and arrow so hard that it will go through people and hit another one. Um, and so his character Lassen is nicknamed the Danish Hammer in the movie too.
That's pretty dope.
Damn, that's hard.
Yeah, and but in real life, he also had a nickname that the Nazis were very scared of him. He was called the Viking because he in real life he was actually a huge motherfucker who just
Dude,
literally used a bow and arrow.
Alan Richardson's a big fucking guy.
He's 6'3", dude.
Yeah,
He's 6'3".
Yeah, dude, and he's a monster
built.
of a man. His fucking
Yeah.
bicep is legit bigger than my head.
Dude.
Yeah.
When he bulked up for Reacher, oh my god.
Yeah,
Oh my
I
goodness.
met him just after he started that role.
Like right after he got bulked up.
Yeah. That's when I got my autograph.
Yeah, dude.
Fucking
Yeah,
dude.
Geo Reacher.
Like I literally
Blue
Alan
Mountain State
Richardson
guy.
right there on the wall.
Hell yeah.
Another thing about it, they in real life, the guy that Lassen, who Richson was playing as, was actually psychotic about killing Nazis. Like it was like a tunnel for him to
pastime.
be able to commit murder. Like people were scared of him, and he definitely plays that off in the movie. So he always did show up with a hunting bow, um, because he grew up as a hunter in Denmark, and he brought this very primitive way of fighting to a very industrial mechanized war. So that is a very true story, and they do lean into that in the movie as well. So that alone right there, I'm not gonna lie, his character and the way that he interacts with everybody is worth watching the movie to me. I'm just gonna say that right now.
I got that from the trailers.
Oh yeah. Him and Henry Cavill have great chemistry. I'm not gonna lie, they really do. And their characters are usually together
so
the
much
whole
fucking
movie.
That is so much
Beef.
fucking man in one room.
No, imagine that. Imagine being in the same room as
I'm
Henry
sweating
Cavill
right now.
and-
It ain't from the heat.
So another thing is like you might get the idea that there was like watching this movie that there was only a half a dozen operatives that actually killed all of these Nazis, because all these things that they do in this movie is all based on true things that they did. But in real life, the unit started as 6 people, but it actually grew to about 55 agents, and were leading multiple different operations during World War II. But getting into this movie, it definitely starts out in such a like cheeky British way, where it's just like people in a room. You got the spinning globe, the library, they're drinking their scotch, whatever, and having their secret meetings about the plans and who they're getting people together. But what it does in this movie is one of my favorite things that you get from movies like Inglourious Bastards. It does the montage of talking about the characters that they want to get on their team.
Yes, dude, I love where it does like the cuts and they're signing the papers, and like the character is it always pans to that character in question doing something out of pocket as fuck.
Yeah.
Yep. And it plays
God,
into
I need to watch this movie.
Yeah, and yeah, it's like I want to talk about some of these scenes, but it would definitely be a spoiler. It's something I really want you guys. But this is a brutal movie. It has humor to it, like that Guy Ritchie like cheeky humor, you know, which I absolutely love. I love Guy Ritchie films, and
Yeah, I'm a sucker for him too. How's the slow mo?
yeah, yeah. And how's the slow mo?
Yeah,
There's none,
he doesn't use it in this one.
no slow mo.
Oh,
That's interesting.
interesting.
Yeah. I think there's one time it follows an arrow while it's going to somebody.
Yeah, I do. I don't know if you remember that King Arthur movie he did with
I don't think I watched it.
with fucking what was that guy's name? He's been in other Guy
Dude,
Ritchie movies. Fucking he was the
let
Sons of Anarchy
let me look
guy.
this- I'm looking this up right now. I'm looking up
Yeah, I'm
his
looking it
films.
up.
He was also in
Yeah.
fucking,
So he did the Sherlock Holmes movies, which those had a lot of slow
which
mo in
also
it.
like he
I
did
Charlie
like
Sherlock
those
Hunnam.
Holmes.
movies though.
Charlie Hunnam, thank you, because he did. So I like
Yeah.
the slow motion uh and that in the Sherlock movies, but in the King Arthur movie it was egregious as fuck and not needed at all. So I was curious if he was still doing that.
No. Oh, he did Man from Uncle. I like that movie too.
Okay, so
Yeah.
maybe he's grown out of the
Yeah, I don't think there was a lot
the
in The
use of
Covenant.
slow motion.
When his movie
Yeah.
The Covenant that released last year, I
Yeah.
don't think there was a lot in that
Yeah.
movie.
He
either.
also did a TV series that was really good called The Gentleman too.
Okay, maybe he's grown out of that then.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. It is action packed. The banter between the characters is really great. They did a really good job by making everybody just seem like badasses, honestly. Like, and
Everybody
there
gets their
are,
moment.
yeah. It definitely at one point this can feel like some of a negative because it definitely at one point feels like characters have plot armor. You know what I mean? But at the same time in real life they actually pulled this shit off. So, you know, as
Plot armor,
egregious
but
as
they
the
have
action
good plot
gets,
armor.
it's based loosely around historic events. So it's like these characters can't really die in this movie, you know? So that's something to go that everybody should willingly go into with it. Um now Isa Gonzalez has a scene in the movie where she actually performs a musical number, and it's actually really good, like
Hmm.
really good. Um, that and oh god, um, she plays an operative as well and does like a lot of spy stuff. And there's a really cool train car scene. It's a very subtle scene, but like the way that she does things is really really cool. And the dialogue in the movie is done really well too. I just feel like they got a cast together that just had like good chemistry.
Mhm.
And with this movie being 2 hours long, I actually would have liked another 20 or 30 minutes just because I like the characters primarily.
Okay. So the
Yeah.
runtime was good, but like you wouldn't have minded like another 15 to 20.
It was just an entertaining movie, you know? I had parts
Yeah.
where I was laughing. I had parts that I was just watching the action sequences.
I felt that way about
And that
Ghostbusters.
yeah. Uh the the antagonist when it gets to like a main like big bad Nazi guy, you know, um he was definitely like badass antagonist the way it depicted him as much as you can in real life type of person, you know, like evil
Mhm.
badass you suck person. His demise in the movie was actually fulfilling but also quick, and I kind of liked it.
Probably how it was in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty it was nice and sly. So, um but yeah, I thought they did a really good job with the budget they had. There's obviously explosions, there's lots of fake blood,
I
you
bet.
know. Yeah. It is definitely a bloodbath of a movie, but it's a fun movie. And like I said, Alan Richardson steals the show in my opinion. So, yeah. I think this is a much watch. It is not available to just stream anywhere. I had to rent this movie, but I didn't mind paying the $6 to watch it. So
Yeah, it's one I think I'll probably end up getting around to. What do you rate it?
this is an 8.5 out of
Ooh,
10 for me.
Somewhere.
8.5.
So
Yeah,
hell yeah.
yeah.
So there's some respectable fucking movies out that y'all need to get around to right now.
Yeah. Gio said,
Mhm.
"Did you cry though?"
I didn't. There's nothing to cry about in this movie. I'm gonna be honest. But what another really cool thing is when they got to the credit sequence at the end of the movie, it actually does a montage of photos of all the characters, all the people that the
Like their
characters were based off.
historical. Yeah, I love those.
Yeah,
Hell
and
yeah.
it actually it tells you like what they went on to do and all that, which is really cool. So
Oh,
I
I
liked
love
it
those
that they did
too.
that.
Classic.
Yeah.
I love
Classic.
yeah, I don't just and they went
Yeah.
on to earn 47 medals, and this person owned a shoe store and opened it with their wife, and they now
So
own it for 67 generations. I love that shit.
Yeah.
well, this I didn't even know that this was like a historical like thing that actually happened until it got to the end of the movie. I didn't know this was a real thing, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Um and this group, the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, they were responsible for getting the US involved in the European World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Like because they have to go take out, the Nazi Armada fleet in order for the boats, the US to get through without, getting taken out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
So
we were talking about
you
this.
should watch Rogue Heroes on Max.
yeah,
Mm.
I should. Yeah, you should watch this whenever you can, however
And-
you can.
And we were talking before the show how actor Christopher Lee was also a part of this historic group. Like fucking
Yeah.
surprisingly, dude, his lore is nuts.
Yeah, he was part of the Ministry. Imagine if he was still alive to see this.
Dude, I
Oh,
bet he'd
dude, he
give
probably
so
would've
many
gone off about
pointers.
it.
He'd
Yeah.
be directly involved with the film, no doubt
I bet
about it.
yeah, he would have been
He
a
probably would
doubt.
have been a producer. They probably would have had him play like one of the head people of the parliament too.
Yeah, he probably would love the shit out of this film. Or the fact that it got made in the first place, I think he would just fucking be ecstatic.
Yeah, and I think it's cool. It sucks it didn't get a lot of attention and it's considered such a bomb. So I just hope more people watch it and, whether they pay money for it or not, because I think it's worth it personally.
I'll probably
Yeah,
rent it, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably rent it too. Just give it a watch. Cause I think I want something like that, dude. Something Guy Ritchie, fucking action, some fucking
Mhm.
funny bits. Like I think it'd be fun.
I just one of the parts they're on a Nazi warship in one of the scenes, and Alan Richardson is literally killing people with a bow and arrow and his knife. He's going down hallways in a warship, right? And then he breaks his last arrow and he just looks at it, and then he looks at the wall and he just sees a fire axe. And you see the light in his eyes go, and then it pans to another scene, and after he picks it up, it shows him using it hallway style, side angle,
Right.
those hallway
But
fight
the
scenes.
boy, yeah.
Yeah.
Old boy.
And then it gets to another part where I think I can't remember if it was Henry Cavill's character or another one. They're at a door with a window and they just see blood everywhere. And all they just look at him, they just go, "I hope that's not your blood." And he's like, "Yeah, me too."
Yeah.
It's fucking wild, dude.
Yeah. I love that
yeah.
British humor, British sarcastic
Dude,
humor.
and the thing
It's
is
so
that's
funny.
kind of just Alan Richson a little bit. He's
Yeah.
just very matter of fact. He plays that as Reacher too.
Yeah.
He's unintentionally funny because he's so direct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that is his character.
Because he commits to the bit, dude. He's a commit to the bit guy. That's why his role works so much in Blue Mountain State.
Dude, I
when
fucking
you
that castle's so gold. Oksana!
You trying to get my quarterback?
That's my quarterback.
Oh my goodness.
The whole running with the Oreo between their cheeks.
Yeah.
Classic. Fucking classic TV, dude.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, man,
But
so
yeah.
we all gave our movies 8s or 8.5, and it's must
Mhm.
watch. You guys Watch Lisa Frankenstein. Watch Frozen, Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire. Watch The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare whenever you get the chance.
I like
But
that they're all good movies. That
yeah,
makes
they're
me
all
happy.
great movies, and we enjoy having you all here because this has been 20,000 Films Under the Sea, your choice for all nerdy pop media news, reviews, and discussions you wanted each and every week. If you like what you heard, you can head on over to our Discord channel where you can submit questions and topics to the show, get exclusive content, and have early access to episodes before they go live on a podcast and video service near you. But if you emptied your pockets for the latest and greatest in entertainment, that's cool with us. You can watch us record the show live right here at twitch.tv/Good Kraken Show. You can also support us by going to our YouTube channel, hitting subscribe, or by leaving a review on our podcast channel by searching 20,000 Films Under the Sea, and we'll be there waiting for you. But until next time.
There is no Donna, only Zool.